former X Division champion and number 22 on PWP's Top 25 of 2022, Mike Bailey here, and you are listening to Pro Wrestling Proverbs with Logan and Anthony.
You hear that sound? The PWP Express was on the road again.
You know.
This time, we weren't in Michigan, we weren't in Indiana, we weren't even in Tennessee. PWP Express was in Ohio for Big Time Wrestling's The Reunion 3. Now, I didn't know about Big Time Wrestling's conventions until you and I were actually in line at WrestleCon.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out why there was a lot of wrestlers there, not a lot of fans. SummerSlam weekend in the same city as SummerSlam. I kind of thought it'd be packed. And then I noticed there's this one called The Gathering. And it had, Kevin Von Erich, Greg Valentine. It was like an NWA convention. So that, coupled with the Starcast that was happening in a couple weeks, pretty much crippled WrestleCon. That's beside the point.
We're not mad about it or anything, no.
No.
Why would we?
I did some research. I tried going to a couple Chicago shows that they had Bret Hart at. But finally got the okay. They sent us passes to go to the Reunion 3. When I say they sent us, you had to work.
Yes.
I went down with, you might have heard us talk about them on the Starcast pod, the Shira brothers, Zion and Jesse, and their dad. We went down to Ohio and came back up the same day. If you're like me, and after sitting for so long, you kind of feel like an old man, I wouldn't recommend doing it. But,
Did you stay for the wrestling show after?
No, which I kind of regret, because I guess the RVD Matt Riddle match was awesome.
Yeah, I pulled up the card here on Cage Match. It looks pretty sweet. Looks like there's the Riddle RVD match went to a no contest, and then there's a tag team match after where they teamed up to take on America's Most Wanted. I don't know if that was
what. I
don't know if that was advertised before.
Hot dog. No, the tag part wasn't.
Oh, oops. You probably should have stayed, old man. Then had to drive home so quick.
But this convention, definitely out of all of them I've been to, it gives me the most old time wrestling con feel. Because if you saw pictures, I sent you some of them.
Yeah.
Had the tarp around the ring, the brown bleachers. People had their banners up. It's kind of what a Battle in the Creek wanted to be, in my opinion. And it was held the Ohio University campus. It was pretty cool to be able to just go into it and have everything set up. But we didn't get a little card holder like we normally do that says pass. I like getting the actual tangible press pass. So it was a little sad. Not the convention's fault, though. That's just preference. So Zion and Jesse's dad really like old NWA, which is why I came to this one. He met Missy Hyatt, and he met Baby Doll, and he met the Rock and Roll Express. He and his sons also met Kurt Angle, and in doing so, Zion has a big gold belt that he got. He now has it signed by Kurt Angle, and I'm sure he'll be taking it to many other conventions to have it signed by other big gold title holders. I asked him why he didn't do Alberto Del Rio. He didn't say why.
Was Del Rio there?
Yeah, Del Rio was there.
Oh my god.
I met Wildfire Tommy Rich, former NWA heavyweight champion. He also was the Big Don for the FBI and ECW. Great guy. Thanked me for being there. Got his signed 8x10. I met America's Most Wanted. I'm pretty sure I've made the comment before on here that I think everything that James Storm is in, he is the lesser. Whether that is America's Most Wanted, whether that is Beer Money, whether that was the couple stables he led. I loved Chris Harris. I know Brandon Walker sucked. Chris Harris was amazing. Remember how many downloads I got when I created him and
yeah.
K15?
Yeah.
I killed it. But yes, it was great. I met them once and then pull the curtain back a little bit. As we were leaving, I saw James Storm wasn't at the table. I knew I wanted the DVD they had. So I ran up when he wasn't there, because I also knew Chris Harris would offer me an autograph. And as I was thinking, thank you, Chris, he goes, do you want to wait for James? And I go, no. So I have an America's Most Wanted DVD signed by Chris Harris. I still have my 8x10 from the two of them, but yeah. DVD's cool and all. I watched an America's Most Wanted match where they teamed with Dusty Rhodes. That was fun. I was gonna meet Greg Valentine, but for like the 4th convention in a row, he canceled or no-showed. So, and the next one we're going to, he's gonna be there on Friday, and we're gonna be there Saturday. So, there's just no luck.
That's all right.
Probably croak before I meet him. Well, it was pretty cool. I mean,
well, we're gonna talk about it later. But if you want to, we could go down Friday if you wanted to. Because I'm taking that Friday off, so I don't have to work and then meet up with you that day and spend a whole day down there. So I'm taking that Friday and Saturday off.
Let's see.
As if you wanted to. I don't know.
Just for Greg Valentine.
He is Greg Valentine.
Yeah. Speaking of Greg Valentine, his former manager Jimmy Hart was there, friend of the show. He was doing a lot of the crowd work along with someone.
Enemy of the show?
Yeah. I didn't get a picture with him, but we did walk by. PWI's own Bill Apter was there, kind of as an MC of sorts. Another cool part about the show was they had a history of professional wrestling in Ohio little exhibit. Had some old championship belts, which you can find on our Facebook page. That I shared out an old U.S. tag title. But it had stuff that went back all the way to the 20s and 30s. It was a pretty cool little table. All in all, it wasn't a bad convention. You know, if I didn't have people driving me, would I went to Ohio for America's Most Wanted? Probably not. But it was a fun convention. I finally met AMW. Now that means, I've pretty much met all my tag teams. The Steiners, AMW, the Horsemen. You got me the Road Warrior Animal autograph, so I'm gonna count that as a Legion of Doom meet. So, there we go.
He was a real prick that day. He was so mean.
Oh, Zion also bought a signed Paul Heyman Funko.
Really? The ECW one?
Yep.
Well, I got mine on clearance for $5. Zion.
It was expensive.
I bet. It was probably more than $5.
More than $5.
I could just write Paul Heyman on it in Sharpie. Same effect.
But like I said, all in all, if I had to put this on the tier list, kind of when I talked about it earlier, I think I'd put it in like the middle, a good C. I didn't have a bad time.
I feel like if you would have stayed for the wrestling event itself, you probably would have put it higher. It sounds like.
Oh, yeah, I didn't expect so many people to be sharing the stuff from it. The other thing I've seen is there's an article where it showed Terry Reynolds and Missy Hyatt, quote unquote, aging like milk, and it's a picture of them from that convention.
Well, speaking of Missy Hyatt, I'm looking at the Facebook page. For those listening, go if you're on your phone or your computer or whatever, go to Facebook, go to the World Classic Professional Big Time Wrestling Facebook page, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see they start posting about, like, oh, this Nunzio arrived.
Yeah.
And it's just picture of them like at the airport or in the restaurant or whatever that they're here or they're in Ohio or whatever. And then they have one of Steve Kern, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, yep.
Outside of Love's gas station, wearing a bejeweled WWE hat. Okay. Innocent enough. And then you go up a little bit more. Then you have Gary Wolf and Missy Hyatt. One, Gary's still outside the Loves in an AC/DC shirt in the middle of the parking lot. And then, for some reason, they brought Missy Hyatt inside the Love's gas station and had her pose in front of the antifreeze and coolant display inside the gas station. So
that's art.
Like you could, like everybody else, that it's them at the airport grabbing their luggage or in a restaurant, or like in their hotel. But nope, they get the gas station treatment. I wonder if it was maybe because they drove. I don't know.
No idea.
You couldn't do anything else for them, like them in front of their car. You had to poster up the antifreeze bottles.
Oh my god!
Like, because I used to work in a gas station. I seen some crazy shit happening. Like, if someone walked into my gas station and started taking pictures in front of the coolant and antifreeze, I would start asking questions. And then they'd be like, "Oh, we're old wrestlers," and I would say, "Oh, that shit's fake, right?"
I know one of the questions that you'd ask them.
What's that?
Where else is PWP gonna be on their 2024 convention tour?
Yeah, Missy Hyatt, where are they gonna be? Where's that podcast with hundreds of listeners gonna go? Where? I know you know. Where are we going, Logan? I know we got a lot of them.
Yeah. So next, I went last year with my wife and my brother. This year, it will be you, me, Zion, and my brother going. It is the Squared Circle Con in Indianapolis. A lot of superstars there. I'm sure you've heard me talk at length about Dolph Ziggler on here. Ming's gonna be there. Dustin Rhodes is gonna be there, and my boy D'Lo Brown's gonna be there.
Oh, shit.
What do they all have in common? It's people that I've bitched about not being able to meet. Well, this con got them all in one place. This was the one that last year I met Kurt Angle. A lot of figures. Yeah, Brooklyn Brawler's gonna be there.
I'm gonna be Brooklyn Brawler. I'm gonna tell him why he wanted us to pay. How much was it? $300, $200?
Yep.
Something like that. Something crazy for a half-hour interview. Yeah.
No, it'll be fun. I enjoyed it last year. It did have a little bit of a pee smell, but I just think that's the fans themselves, not the hotel or the wrestler. After that, few short weeks later, coming back to Astronomicon. This time we have passes. We will be there as members of the media. Pro Wrestling Proverbs, Astronomicon. You know who's going to be there? Big Red Machine Kane.
Ooh. Glenn Jacobs. Mayor Jacobs.
The Mayor Jacobs, who, if you have listened since we did the very first podcast, you will know we endorsed him.
I'd like to retract that endorsement. He also be a Squared Circle Expo too, but I might just wait until Astronomicon.
That's what I was thinking, trying to save my money.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, Astronomicon, of course, we've talked about it at length in multiple episodes. It's a very fun convention. It gets all pop culture. There's weed culture, there's heavy metal stuff, there's sci-fi, there's animation, there's horror, there's wrestling. It all comes together in just one nice little convention soup.
Well, also Marty Jannetty is going to be at Squared Circle Expo.
Yeah.
I'll ask him if he actually killed that guy.
He'd probably say yes.
He already made it to it once.
Squared Circle's got a lot of people at it.
Yeah. A lot of people. That's alright. I'll be overwhelmed.
I like how it gets set up, too, because there's a main room that has figures and some of the people in it, and then they have a side room that's just dedicated to people. So, last year, MJF and John Moxley were put in the corner there. I did not meet either of them because the line was too long. We chose our long line to be Kurt Angle.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, it is, especially when they had milk on the table, and it just made me laugh the whole time we were in line.
When it go bad?
There's just 6 glasses of milk just on his table that he was drinking from.
He was drinking it?
Yeah, that was his drink of choice.
I thought it was just like a gimmick. Didn't know he actually
Me
drank
too.
that much milk.
But then after those 2 cons, we have a little break, and then we have been invited back to the really cool Comic-Con in Flint, Michigan.
Yes, I'm excited for this one again. The guy's really nice.
Everything's set up fun. I mean, even when part of the building lost power, people didn't care. They were still having a good time.
Yeah, I was having a good time for the most part until I think both of us got exhausted.
Yeah, we did.
Both of us kind of got sick.
I wanted to go home.
we had a long weekend. I remember you left. I was like, I think I can muster up and go inside and film some stuff. And I just sat there, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do anything. And I think I told the story when we did the episode on it. They did the kids cosplay competition. I got so emotional. The girl was dressed up as Wonder Woman, and she did this whole thing of women are I don't know, something about women power, and I was just like, hell yeah. You
funny.
Go. So yeah.
Yeah. As the Express keeps going, we'll see if we can add to our total. Since we brought back PWP, and since we started going to the conventions under the names, whether we have passes or we're just meeting the people, we have met 27 WWE Hall of Famers, and we've met 22 world champions comprising WWE, NWA, WCW, ECW, and TNA. We could almost have our own little PWP Hall of Fame.
We might. We should do that every year. We'll induct 3 people. We'll send them out a little plaque.
Okay.
Seems like a waste of money because I bet you most of them will just throw it right into the fucking trash.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That is A-okay.
Yeah. I've said it before, I always like this time of year. I love convention time. Meeting the people is really cool. Finding some of the fun merchandise out there. I'm hoping that since this is Squared Circle, not Squared Circle, High Spots affiliated, they'll have some High Spots DVDs. I got the really cool one on the Von Erichs last year. I want some compilations, though, like some Midnight Express, some Terry Funk. Hoping not to spend too much money, but, what are you gonna do? Everybody's got a price.
So do I. Yeah, the PWP Convention Tour of 2024.
It's going to shape up to be a good one. It'll be a good one. It'll be a little bit shorter than last year, but last year we were booked to the gills. Summer tour started in February, and it included SummerSlam. This year, no pay-per-view inclusion, and we're actually starting in the springtime.
We could take a quick trip down to Cleveland for SummerSlam this year.
Yeah.
Or just watch it from home.
I like that idea.
Yeah. We'd make our own little suite.
Oh yeah, wings and burgers and fruit and salad. I'm in. Oh, them vodka sodas. Those were tasty. I drank them all. And then she replenished them.
She kept coming.
Yep, and I kept drinking. And just think, I mean, as we're talking about it, maybe we were some of the lucky few that got to see Brock Lesnar's final match.
I don't know. They keep saying he's coming back to TV.
If he comes back, we just can't have anything nice in Michigan.
No. Well, we got Ronda Rousey's last match.
Yeah, we did.
WWE.
Yeah, and then she came back to Ring of Honor like a month later, and then she's like, "I did my match, bye." But yeah, all sorts of things just like that can happen on our convention tour. So make sure you pay attention to all of our socials. And, if you're listening and you see us at one of these, just say hello. We are people, too.
Mostly. Logan is a diabetic, so take that for what you will. He's
I'm part robot.
Yeah. He's got gadgets to go beep and boop. But yeah, real quick before we wrap it up, we do have some stuff coming out in the next couple weeks, content-wise. We've been a little late the past week, but that's going to change here very quickly here towards the end of March. I don't want to jinx it, but it seems like we have a special guest booked next week.
Oh.
Or the week after, depending on when he gets back to us. A special interview.
Is it Andy Kaufman?
Close.
Okay.
We might have, I think his name is Stephen New. He's a lawyer.
Okay.
He has his own podcast. Let me just pull it up real quick. I don't want to just wing it and not give him his due. He is a nice guy, even if he doesn't end up coming on. He does have a lot of great content. He is part of... I gotta scroll down. He tweets a lot. The House of Kayfabe podcast.
Okay.
He's on there with Brian. His name's Brian. CVP New, their lawyer. He did a podcast series on that channel covering the Vince McMahon lawsuit. So I'm thinking, with our coverage of it, kind of being our most popular thing we've done so far here on the channel, content-wise. We'll get him on here, and we'll discuss more of the legal side of it, what he believes is going to happen to Vince, and how he would take the case on if he was the one prosecuting him, and what can we expect over the next couple months. And then after that, we have WrestleMania.
Oh.
Or the one time a year where we kind of delve into the current product at more of a storyline level. We're gonna talk. I got a bunch of ideas cooking, but we'll get more into.
Is there gonna be another Jeopardy?
Yeah, I got to talk to you. But we'll talk about that off air. I want to do another Jeopardy, but the question will be: do we want to do it with just you, or do we want to call on to some of our friends of the show, to come on and potentially compete for a prize?
I'd love for Brian Pillman Jr. to do it.
I'll reach out to him and see if he wants to. Because I'm thinking, if we get like 2 or 3 or 4, probably 2, we could just have them compete, and you and I can just laugh at them.
The host.
Be no pressure for you to lose a prize for anybody like you did the past 2 times.
Yeah, be called a loser.
Yeah. So that's something we got to work out here so we can get somebody in. We also kind of do want to do a like an off-air contest as well, kind of harkening back to our college days, but this time on a bigger scale. Kind of do more of the WrestleMania prediction sheets that we used to do.
Yes.
So we'll have each match listed on like a Google forum, and you have to decide who wins and how, and then we'll have a couple tiebreaker questions, and whoever gets the most points at the end of WrestleMania will give us some sort of prize. This is all stuff we're gonna have this solidified here in the next week. So with that, make sure you stay tuned to at PW Proverbs on X and Pro Wrestling Proverbs everywhere else. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, comment, give a thumbs up. If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcasting platform, please do the same. Rating and reviewing really helps us move up the wrestling charts. I think we're in the top 150 now, I believe. We're getting up there.
That's awesome.
We've gained a lot of Spotify subscribers too recently, which is nice to hear.
Good.
And I want to give a quick shout out. Let me pull it up real quick. I did not come prepared for this outro. We had a new review on Apple Podcasts. This is one I already read to you earlier.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. From Nestor Best. Awesome insight and analysis. 5 stars. Just discovered your podcast with a Vince McMahon complaint reading episode. That was brilliant. Your insight and commentary were spot on. New subscriber, thank you. So Nestor, if you're out there listening, thank you. Thank you for leaving that kind words. It's always cool to see somebody that we don't immediately know finding the channel.
Yeah.
And supporting in that way. So if that's you, reach out to us. We'll give you a quick shout, maybe give you some sort of discount code for our Etsy store. So you can pick up something if you'd like. But other than that, Logan, got anything else before we sign off here on the Big Time Wrestling Convention episode? The official kickoff of the PWP Convention Tour of 2024.
Well, everyone just needs to be on the lookout for that PWP Express when it rolls into your local convention.
See you later, everybody.